Okay, so here's the thing. I might be in danger of becoming a keyboard person. I know, right? So let me explain. So recently I did a review of this Proto-Arc full QWERTY keyboard, and it's a nice keyboard. It's a Mac K100 from Proto-Arc. It uses slim yellow switches from Gateron, and it's nice. It's a nice keyboard. It's nice to type on. I'm used to the low profile switches and also like membrane keyboards and like Apple keyboards and all that kind of stuff. So that worked really well for me. And then I was thinking about what I wanted to review next, and ProtoArc was like, hey, do you want to check out anything? And I saw this. And yes, there are other color variations of this keyboard, and some of you may think this is the most awful thing you've ever seen, but there's something about the kind of like off-white brown retro vibe that I get from this that is just amazing. But let me tell you a little bit about it. So it's the RoyaleAxe R100 mechanical keyboard that they did some kind of collab with ProtoArc on. The switch options you can get out of the box are the Gateron, the G Pro Yellow, the G Pro Brown, the G Pro Red, and the G Blue. I went with the G Pro Yellow because it's a nice linear switch that's good for typing and it's not too clicky that makes everyone insane if someone's working next to you. So I really like that about it. Although in the near future, I will be exploring other switches, so let me know in the comments what you think I should check out if I'm coming from a yellow. I would like to try some tactile switches as well, so let me know. So while you can only select 4 different switches that it comes with, you can totally hot swap switches with this thing. It actually comes with a keycap and a switch removal tool. As far as connectivity goes, you got a bunch of options. You have a wired connection. You have 2.4G wireless via a USB-A dongle, which, you know, USB-A is going to be around for a while yet, but I would like to see a transition to USB-C. Anyway, and then you have Bluetooth, and for Bluetooth, you can actually connect 3 different devices. Really easy to connect. You just hold down the function button and hold down one of the 3 buttons to pair the keyboard. It's Q, W, and E. Another thing I really like about this keyboard is that it has a Windows Mac switch, so you can switch between Windows and Mac specific key layouts on the keyboard. That's very nice. Now, I will say one thing that I didn't really care for, and this is totally like a personal preference thing, is when I got this particular keyboard, the R100, it kind of takes a lot of those keys that you normally see on a full keyboard and compresses them down and puts them in different places. For instance, the home and page up and page down buttons are on top of the number pad, and the 0, where it would normally be a longer button, is now kind of right in the middle of that number pad on the bottom. And that makes it, like, normally I use a number pad without having to look at it, and hitting that 0 is a little bit more difficult because you have to kind of tuck your thumb in. It's just something I'm not used to. So, I don't know. Even though I normally use the number pad on a regular basis, I might want to go with something more like the RoyaleAxe L75, or go the complete opposite direction and get a full keyboard with the more normal key layout. But I will say, if you do want a mechanical keyboard and you want that number pad, this is still a great option. It's just going to take a little while to get used to those button locations. So I almost forgot to mention, when you get your keyboard, you also get 4 extra yellow switches, and you get a nice white braided USB cable. So as far as build quality goes, as you can see, this thing is pretty chunky and it's real heavy. Like, it is significantly heavy. and there's almost no flex whatsoever, which is really cool. Now, normally I would expect a keyboard of this quality to be like, I don't know, at least $130 maybe. That seems kind of right in my head, but this keyboard only costs $89, and that's with the switches and the keycaps. So for someone like me who's just getting into keyboards, this seems like a really great place to start. There's nothing about this keyboard that says, hey, you should have spent more. Like, I literally have no issues with this whatsoever. Well, I will say this. So if you look more under the keys here, you can see the little blue labels for like multimedia, raising and lowering the volume, that sort of thing. That's the only thing about these types of keyboards that kind of annoys me, is that I don't have immediate one button push access to those functions. You do have to hold down the function button to use those, and then you got to kind of memorize where those buttons are because they're not the easiest to see, those little blue etchings on there. Another really cool thing about this is all of the RGB patterns and functions you have with this. I mean, you start out with rainbow, you can change to red, green, blue, yellow, pink, purple, etc. And then on top of the colors, of course, you have the animations and the functions. There's just a ridiculous number of options. The backlight is auto off if you're using it wirelessly, which is nice because, you know, you're not using up your battery. It is a 3000 milliamp hour battery, which should give you a nice long charge. I mean, I've been using it for a week, I think, and I don't think I've needed to charge it yet. I will say I have had the backlight off for most of that, so just keep that in mind. Your usage may vary. But honestly, most of the time when I want to use the backlight, I like to have it plugged in so it's always on. I don't really like it to kick off and then when I start typing, it pops back on again. It's just like, I'd rather it just be on all the time. Plus, it just looks cool having those lights on in your room, am I right? There is a driver available for Mac and Windows, though I didn't really need it. I mean, there probably are a couple more functions I could get out of it if I did install the driver, but frankly, for the most part, just standard use, like you don't really need it. Anyway, if I didn't feel like a total nerd for some of the things that I've tested and reviewed on the channel before, I do now. If you're watching this and you have this keyboard, let me know what you think. I mean, based on the other keyboards I've seen online, I don't see how you could go wrong with this for the price. I mean, it's a lot lower than a lot of the competitor keyboards like this out there. So with that, I'll drop a link in the description below where you can find it. Anytime you use one of my links to make a purchase, you help support the channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.